people who grew up with Stella D'Oro cookies on the table. We've watched this, we've been aware of this company and this factory, just as every worker here has invested their lives in making this a going concern. We've now reached a point, it's a horrible situation, where a profitable firm feels they can just throw people into the garbage heap. The workers here are saying no, and the mayor has an obligation to stand up and actually do something. He talks all the time about making things in New York City. Here's an opportunity to actually continue making a first-rate product by first-rate workers. We should accept nothing less than that. Like the Assemblyman, Working Families is very proud to be here and absolutely prepared to help in these last days, which you think need not be the last days, because there's still some tricks in our bag. We need to hold the mayor to his responsibility, and we need to do what's necessary to keep Stella D'Oro in the Bronx. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker is Joyce Alston, President of the Bakery Workers Union Local District.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'd like to say that the Stella D'Oro workers have made us as a local proud. We're proud to represent them. They've shown the courage that has awakening the labor movement, because somewhere along the line we fell asleep. If the problem wasn't at our doorstep, we tended to ignore it. Well, now it's at our doorstep, because what they do to us, they will do to you at some point. We were in negotiations with them yesterday for the effects bargaining in the event that we're unable to stop the closing. They, in over 30 years of bargaining with various companies in different states, they have to be the most arrogant, egotistical group that we've ever come in contact with. They're still trying to bargain over how much severance they should get, or whether or not they should pay their sick pay, their vacation, and they're wanting us to take the severance without having all of the rest intact, and we won't do that. It's been a struggle. We'll tell you that we are committed as a local to stay with this fight. We've been there from the beginning, and we'll take it to the end. Our intention is to make sure that our Stella D'Oro members get every single benefit they're entitled to. Our first preference, obviously, is to keep the plant open. We asked them for a closing date. They said they can't tell us. It's between the 9th and the 23rd. So that's the level of arrogance that you see with this employer. I thank all of you for being here to help bring our story to the public. I thank all of the unions, the community groups that have been there with us from the beginning. And I can tell you, we will not stop until there's nowhere else to go.
All right.
Keep Stella in the Bronx! Keep Stella in the Bronx! Keep Stella in the Bronx! Keep Stella in the Bronx!
Next, I'd like to call up on two actual workers who are in danger of losing their jobs. Oscar Hernandez and Mike Filippou.
Thank you very much. Thank you everybody for coming here and supporting us. That's great to see support from other brother unions and supporters. I want to say one thing. I never see in my life a company like Brinwood, the way they treat the workers. They think like we're garbage, with nothing. And from the beginning, before we go out on strike till today, they treat us like garbage, like we're not human beings. And the other thing I want to say is they denied us to give us what we deserve for all these years work we did, even when they closed the factory. They closed and they moved in the factory, they taking us jobs away, and they still don't want to give us what we earned over the years. We earn with our sweat. Sometimes in there, summertime's 120 degrees to work in there, okay? We put a lot of sweat in the place, and we built our factory with our hands. So Bree would think like we don't do anything, and they comparing us. I was reading yesterday an article in the New York Times. They comparing us with a CVS worker. Yeah. It's like a big difference between a CVS worker and working in the bakery. I'm not saying like the working in CVS not working, but the conditions we're working in there is so hard. It's totally different from to work in CVS. Those ladies who's packing the cookies, they pack almost 10,000 trays a day. Okay, they working so hard, but they think, would think, oh, these people have no skills, so they nothing, you know. So I want to say one thing. We're gonna fight Brentwood no matter what. We're gonna go after them today, tomorrow, after tomorrow. I'll be with my union behind them for anything they do. Okay, thank you very much.
Just one moment. It was just one item that I wanted to bring to your attention. I know there was an article in the New York Times which the company stated that there were no other buyers. That's absolutely false. We had numerous buyers that contacted the local union. They were interested in buying Stellador and keeping it in the Bronx. Brentwood partners refused to respond to any of their phone calls. So there was no exchange in what they were willing to offer to buy that bakery. But there were numerous offers from different developers to keep the Bronx bakery open and running.
Thank you for coming. My name is Hernandez. I work as an electrician in Stellador. As Mike was saying, it's very hard work over there by myself. I opened the factory by myself. I think it's not safe at all. We used to have 2 mechanics at that shift. So they keep cutting and cutting. Now I'm by myself until maybe from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the morning. The majority of the people that work over there are females over 50 years of age. This close is going to be very hard for them to find another job. Mainly the situation that we have right now. That's why one of the reasons we want to keep Stellador in the Bronx. And thank you for your support.
Right there.
As I mentioned before, and you can see behind me, we have an awful lot of the unions supporting these workers here. We have a number of presidents of the locals and unions. I'd like to call upon Barbara Bowen first, president of the PSC.
Thank you very much. I want to thank Councilmember Avella for calling this press conference, having the courage to work with all of us, and also to call and thank the Working Families Party for helping us to get together here. You have a lot of unions here. I represent the 22,000 members of the Professional Staff Congress CUNY. We're the faculty and staff at the City University of New York. I want to start by paying tribute to the 136 workers in Stelladoro. They did what every worker in this city should do, and every union should do, faced with the race to the bottom. When they were told it's inevitable that your salaries will be cut, that all your vacation days will be taken away, that you will lose your sick days, instead of saying, let's figure out how we can make a deal, they said no. They went on strike, and they stayed on strike for 11 months. And in that time, guess how many people, how many of the union workers crossed the picket line? In 11 months of hot weather, cold weather, how many crossed the picket line?
Zero.
They did what all working people need and what we should all do. And when they waged that fight and continue to wage that fight, I agree, let's not call this the last days. I hope this is some of the first days. They fought for all of us. They are fighting for every union member in this city, for every working person in this country. They are fighting for us. So now it's time for us to fight for them. I am calling on every union leader in this city to be at that plant tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock when the shift changes, and make sure that these are not the last days of Stelladoro. I would like to I see many of my fellow union officers, Faye Moore and many others here today, but I would like to call on every single union leader, public sector and private sector, to be at that plant in the Bronx tomorrow afternoon and show with your members, not just the leaders, and